Returning to where we left off in the last UHC episode, we see here the last remainder of Team Red, Bob, escaping from combat using his ability to get away. It's not a good position for Team Red, being the only team with only one member left, while two other teams are still at full strength. It wouldn't surprise me if Bob didn't want to engage at this point, but he might just be using his invisibility to make a cautious approach and take out some sneaky people. However, Yellow here engages Purple, who are then caught off on the mountain. Frankie taking an arrow and being pushed off, taking so much fall damage that he dies from the fall. Danny taking another arrow and getting pushed off, but luckily for him he has enough health to actually survive it, while Danger's getting caught here on the mountain by Pink Swiper, entered into close combat, and both of them lighting each other on fire. Pink here ends in a bad situation, but Dangerous gets taken out first, then Pink dies just a moment later from the fire tick. Team Yellow moving down here in the field to try and get into a better position where they're not risking it. Danger's most likely quite damaged. We can see here that he has taken some healing, but how much did he have? There's not enough to actually last the team forever in this map. And we see, oh, there, Bob sneaks up behind Team Purple and manages to take out Mr. Cave while the other team is engaged in combat. That's unfortunate, and Bob is right away again, and combat is ended. Team Yellow running away, and Team Purple caught in a situation where they are a little bit startled by the sudden death of one of their teammates. Hopping back over to Team Yellow, it looks like they have moved around Team Purple and are using the opportunity to go up and look through the loot. Just as they're doing that, they manage to see Bob in the distance. There's a floating bow, but as it turns out, the invisibility doesn't quite work as you expect, because if you are on a team, at least in this version, other people can see your name tags even if you are invisible, so you're not completely safe even though you have the potion effect on you. So you need to be very careful. Unfortunately for Bob, he didn't know that at this point, so it might come back to bite him later, but we'll have to see how that goes. For now, he manages to escape the combat though, leaving Yellow to sort through the loot. While Yellow's taking care of that, let's hop over to Team Green, who are down to 2 people, having lost both Baj and Jackarou. The two are now back on the mountain, and they seem to be taking it a little seriously, because we see him raving and running around with a fancy new hat. That is probably doing a little bit more to blocking his vision than actually helping any kind of defense. Bob, on the other hand, here is continuing his trip through the terrain, and he might have realized that he has been seen. So he's put on his armor again, still invisible, but now quite possible to be seen anyway. However, it does mask his player skin, so it does give a little bit of a benefit, even though it's not the best. Over by Team Purple. Team Purple has entered into combat with Yellow again. A team of 2v2 now, and they are standing here in the field using the ice spikes as defensive walls. Neither team really trying to flank the other, but it doesn't surprise me with this terrain, because this is not really the best place to do it. One flank is covered by a mountain, the other is in an open field further down, so it would put you in a bad defensive situation. However, let's see how this battle unfolds. Oh, Danny takes a pot shot, and luckily for him, I think he still has some absorption hearts up. Strangely enough, the purple team decides to turn around. Perhaps they're getting a little bit low on health. They're definitely trying to make the escape here, but the yellow team is quick to pursue them. Running over the mountain, they're hoping to use the slight delay that gives them to recover some saturation. But Pie taking arrows here on the retreat. It's dangerous to do this, because you might just end up being cut off like Bash did. The other team is moving around, catching up to Cheese here. Let's see what happens. Purple team is being quite good at keeping together, but it looks like Team Yellow is moving real close to them. Cheese here in what looks like quite a bad situation, and just like that, Pie unfortunately takes an arrow just as he's trying to get his food back up and goes down, leaving just one member left on Team Purple. Team Green having entered into the combat here, we have a 3-team situation, allowing the purple team to escape. A 2v2 situation, JT and Raven versus Danny and Jackarou. We'll see how the two teams actually fight off against each other here. It looks like Team Green might be split up a little bit. JT going after the yellow team while Raven go after the purple. The purple, however, having none of it, while the yellow are trying to catch him. It's going to be tough catching this one person though, while they have the other green team on their tail though. So Cheese here runs up to the forest and disappears between the clay leaves, forcing the other team to turn around and thus ending the combat. It would be very surprising if they managed to find Cheese in this wood. And true enough, it looks like they have given up because they are turning back around. Hopping over to Team Red again, and Bob is scaling the mountains, perhaps trying to see if he can find himself a good opportunity to jump someone. We'll have to see what happens. But just as we're following there, we return to Team Green, who has entered into combat with Team Yellow again. Fighting each other in the forest. Not really a good situation for either of them, but just like that, the Raven takes an arrow and accidentally places his water bucket, putting him in a little bit of a bad situation. However, he decides quickly to turn around and run away, and takes smartly enough the path over the ice. A good decision for anyone not familiar with Minecraft physics. Sprint jumping makes you faster, but sprint jumping in ice even faster, and it allows him to get around behind Danny, who luckily for him manages to get around or get away and avoid getting stabbed in the back, using a water bucket to cover his ass so he doesn't get pursued, while Raven opts for the opportunity to regroup with JT. Jam pursuing from the back while Danny comes up. The two teammates now up against each other again. The green team decides not to engage immediately and use the opportunity to go up on top of the mountain, getting themselves a little bit more of a beneficial situation going, while the yellow team try to make their approach. Now, it might not look like a good situation for the yellow team, but the green team is quite low on health, and because of that they might be a little more cautious than one would expect, allowing the yellow team to be a little more bold and approach. And as we see here, they might just be doing that, trying to make their way up the mountain. And as it looks here, it might look like the green team have their back against the wall, what with the water behind them, but one does have to remember that it is also a way of escaping. They can move down the mountain very quickly without fall damage. Oh, they're trying to make a fight for it, but taking a few nasty shots. This is not good health to lose. Jam and Danny here pushing the green team back. Looks like the green team might be trying to disengage, going for the water to try and escape while they have the opportunity. Yellow team seeing it right away and following behind them. If they get caught in the water, this gets nasty quick, but it looks like green team has managed to get out, and the yellow team is following them down, which might be a little surprising considering they will be in just as dangerous a situation while they're going down the water as the other team was being caught in. Following them down to the bottom here, we follow and see if the team continue fighting or if one of them decides to disengage. The yellow team doesn't seem to want to give up the pursuit, following them through the fields, while green team seems most determined on getting away at the moment, or at least getting themselves into a more defensible position, trying to go for the ice spikes and the hills to see if they can find a good spot perhaps. We'll have to wait and see. Yellow team in hot pursuit here, following them over the mountain, determined not to let them escape. But the green team making it across the water before they can get to the top of the hill, allowing them to go around the long side around the mountain. Hoping that this path will lead them to salvation. And just like that they move into the mountain pass, Danny opting for the low route, hoping that it will connect up, but unfortunately for him it leads to just a cliffside, and just like that the green team manages to escape, allowing us to hop over to Ernbob again, and Team Red, who is now looking to be brewing up some more potions. Oddly enough, he's brewing some awkward potions, which doesn't do anything in taking them out, but he might just be moving about a little bit. Or he might be preparing potions to brew later, that he can then quickly make into something. Hopping over to Cheese here. He's the only one left on his team, and he is not in a good situation, so let's hop back over to Team Green. Team Green is running for it. It's going to be interesting to see what is going to happen to them, because over here in the distance we are seeing something. Do they see what I see? There we have him. Ernbob is back in combat, this time with Cheese. Wonder if Team Green has actually seen this happen. This is a bad situation. We have Cheese, who is in a bad situation with low health, against Ernbob, who is potentially stronger at this point, even though his team seem to be in a bad position. Cheese does seem to be acting a little bit silly. He might be having a little bit of an adrenaline rush at this point. It does, however, look like Cheese is a little better equipped, at least seeing from his diamond chest piece. We'll have to see what happens here. It looks like Ernbob is trying to disengage, having wasted his opportunity perhaps for a jump. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Sneaking away here in the background, it does certainly look like he intends to disengage, using his camouflaging iron armor and invisibility to hide his name tag and let him escape from combat. It looks like he makes it. Hopping over to Team Green again to see what's up with them. They are back on the mountains, potentially having a look around, but just as we say that, Team Yellow has engaged Ernbob. They have caught him off guard while he was retreating and managed to take him out. That takes Team Red out of the combat. One team down, and Team Yellow still at 2 people, and just like that they managed to spot Cheese in the distance. However, Cheese, facing up against a 2-person team, quickly decides that this is not an opportune situation and turns around and runs away. The question is now, can he escape the team? Or will he be caught and killed? We'll have to wait and see how the battle unfolds. It looks like Cheese is taking the cautious approach. He has made himself a little bit of a house inside one of the ice spikes and is hiding in there to try and escape the other team. It looks like the yellow team has lost track of him and is now continuing their hunt for other players. They are down to 1 team of 2 players with low health and Cheese. They are certainly in a good spot at this point. Team Green is also on the hunt. Question is, can they find the others? They're not in the same space as Yellow, so it might be that they are behind them, following their tracks. Hopping over to Team Yellow again. The guys are moving through the forest. Over the fields. But still no sign of the others. They're coming up on the water mountain. that the purple team created. But it doesn't look like there's any teams in the immediate vicinity. The green team is up in the mountains, or at least JT is. Oddly enough, it looks like the green team is split up a little bit. The yellow team moving through the mountains. It might just be that the two teams are meeting up with each other soon. Have to wait and see. This being the place where Pie died. And what's that over there in the distance? It is JT. JT has seen the other team. But will they engage in combat? Looks like he is alone at the moment, so I would guess that he is more determined on finding his teammate at this point. It would almost be foolish to engage the others at this point, but just like that, episode 6 comes to an end. It's looking good for the yellow team, but we'll have to see if they can pull through. A lot of people died, and this is how episode 6 comes to an end. See you in episode 7.